Hey guys, Casual Crono here. It is December 2023, so it is time for me to show off the progress of my Superboss teams. My leveling team is what I use just for general, very hard, red key type dungeons. It's usually 2 AoE attackers, a healer, and kind of whatever for the 4th position. I usually have people trying to level up right now. However, pretty much every character I own is maxed out at the moment. So level 80s, level 60s, even all the bots. So I don't have anyone to level right now. Oh, except Riz. Kind of forgot about her. So I probably could throw Riz in there. So what I usually do with my leveling team, I've been doing the very hard dungeons that reward light points, and right now I'm working on the Rift Breaker, so that's Helena's access to getting light points. I also want to get her level 80 just for funsies, so the Rift Breaker drops the tomes she needs for that. So she's in there right now. Normally I would have Riz in the back row leveling up, just like I have Aldo. I did do the Star Awakening for Aldo, so Aldo is at level 85. And from what I've read, it sounds like it takes a ton of experience to get him to 100. If I were to use scrolls, it would take over 2,000, if I remember the wording correctly. Levels 95 to level 100 alone is like brutal. So right now I have 1,390 high-class scrolls, and I could level him up to level 97. So I don't want to waste the scrolls on that, to be honest. So I'm just kind of keeping him in the background, getting whatever experience comes around. And he's gotten to level 85 that way, so it is making a little bit of progress. But anyway, that is my leveling team. Mariel basically is there really for her Oratio Virtuous skill. That's the only thing I ever do with her. Tsubame and Flammelapis, when I auto-attack, they just automatically attack all of the mobs. Both of them, they're Grasta. Gives them 100, well, this one is 90% Earth and the Bullseye. Flammelapis has 100% water damage and no Bullseye. She has the Elpis Rod and Bullseye badge, whereas Tsubame has Elpis gloves and just a power badge. So basically, I walk up, I hit auto attack, and everything dies. Orlea's here just because I usually throw a tank in the 4th position, and if I have Soira there, it takes a moment for the rage to kick in, and if with Radius in that position, she does her chivalry, so it's just a little quicker with Orlea. So that is my leveling team right now. So another team I use is another dungeon farm team. This is for the Garulea, Underworld, the 2 key dungeons basically. I have it set up so that I have at least 360 light points, and I can still sit around and auto-attack. So Sesta doesn't give any light points. Suzette happens to have 50. Yifa has 50. And Soira has 130. So to make up the rest, I have in the back row Palm, who I seem to draw more often than anyone else. She has 138 light points. So combined, the 4 of them break that 360 mark to maximize rewards, which means this character can be whoever I want it to be. So if I'm running Omegapolis, I could put Luca in there. If I'm running Underworld, I can put back in Altina, and so forth. So whoever can get the free light points or shadow points goes in that slot. And this team works really well. I walk around and my auto attack, Sesta does Twin Blade Wolf on the first turn and usually kills everything, even bosses. So that is my another dungeon team. Nothing really to write home about. Suzette has her Dark Manifest, kind of store-bought gear. Her Grasta, she has Power of Poisons, and one of them has Bullseye. I'll go over Sesta and Yifa and Soira in one of my other parties. The back row characters, it doesn't matter what they have, so she's not equipped. There's no Grasta involved. And even Palm, she's not equipped and no Grasta either. So she's just there for the light points. So that is my Garulea dungeon farm.
Sesta is ready. There! Listen, these are the eyes of the voiceless. Oh man, look at my dress! Listen, these are the eyes of the voiceless. Sesta is ready. Listen, these are the cries of the voiceless. Pride comes before the fall. These are the cries of the voiceless.
So next up are my 3 Superboss teams. I have one that focuses on Alma, one that focuses on Sesta, and one that focuses on Minalca. Why those 3 characters? All 3 have a barrier pierce skill that is very easy to use that requires no setup. And a lot of Superbosses have barriers these days. So I'm going to start talking about my Alma team, my first Superboss team. It's my personal favorite, and it features Alma. She has the Elpis bow for the overpower. She has now the Dryad's ring, which is from one of the newer dungeons. It improves her critical strength, magic critical strength, and light shadow MP. So basically, when she crits, it does more damage, and it gives her some extra MP to work with. Grasta-wise, she has the Power of Pain series. She has Bullseye as 1, MP consumption attack as 1, And the third one is just an upgraded Power of Agony for 35% strength. She also has her first Valor Chant Grasta. Right now, I don't really use Valor Chants that often. I don't have characters swapping in and out. So really it's just a stat stick, so she gets an extra 5 power and speed right now from it. Shion, he has the Mujima Rod for its overthrow as well. He has the Time Restored Ring equipped, which enhances weak point damage since he's able to manipulate weak points, and it gives him a little bit of regen. And I have him with the Flame Lord badge, which improves his intellect and reduces how much mana he uses. Not that that's really ever been a problem, but it's just an extra kind of bonus. As far as Grasta, he also has the Power of Pains. So my 2 damage dealers both have Pains. So as long as Pain is on the target, I'm good to go. One of them is upgraded with Bullseye. The other 2 have not been upgraded at all. Iffy, I've tweaked her around a little bit since last month. As far as weapons, she still has a Purity Staff just for the status resistances and speed. It's only a +1. I really need to get around to leveling it sometime, but I've given her the Elpis Ring, mainly for the extra health, because I also use her in my Minalca team, so the more health she has on that team, the more damage Minalca does. Along the same lines, for her badge, I have the Life Spring badge, which gives her an extra 1,000 health. As far as Grasta, she has Sound Body Staff, which improves her health and the health of other staff users. Extra damage when staff users are below 80%. And she has Almighty Power Gun. Same 3 Grasta as she's had for a while. So her Staff Grasta boosts Shion, and the Gun Grasta boosts Alma's damage. Radius, I believe, is the same as last month as well. She has the Illusion Speed Sword for 1,000 health, the Elpis Bangle for health, and she has enough light, so she only has 1 badge at the moment, but it's one from Toto Theater World, which gives her 2,000 health at the cost of speed. Since the only 2 skills I really use are Prominence Purge and Overwhelm, and Prominence Purge is preemptive, the speed really doesn't matter. The only skill that doesn't go immediately is Overwhelm. As far as her Grasta, I've focused on Grasta to give her health. So she has the Victory Celebration for the regen and health. It's upgraded for Light Shadow extra HP. She has the MP Consumption Grasta, which also has the Light Shadow HP ore. And she has just an HP Restore Sword. I just wanted something that had 300 health, and it also is upgraded with the Light Shadow HP ore. And I finally gotten enough for her first Valor Chant Grasta, which gives her an additional 300 health and 5 endurance. So unbuffed, she has 10,600 health, which is nice because Overwhelm gives her a shield based on her max HP. So the higher her max HP is, the stronger the shield is as well. She survives things really well right now. So that is the main team. The backups, Pizzica, not equipped. She's a Grasta holder. She has the max HP bow Grasta, enhance at low HP, and regen for bow users. So basically her Grasta are designed to beef up Alma's damage and to give Alma regen. Bivet's Grasta, one of them also helps Alma. She is a cat lover, and both Alma and Shion are cat lovers, so she gives both of them an extra 25% damage. Since she's a staff user, I have Power of Inferno, which improves fire type attacks, and enhance max HP for staff users. Since she is a fire user and Shion is a fire user, that means his attacks are boosted thanks to Bivet. So if you're trying to ever decide who to be in the background, Pizzica, it doesn't have to be her, it just has to be someone that can equip a bow, because all 3 of those Grasta could go on any bow user. Similarly, as long as the back row character is a fire staff user, these 2 Grasta could go on anyone. Now the third one, Cat Lover, has to be on someone who has that personality trait. Bivet happens to, and happens to be a fire user, which is why I've chosen her. Sidekicks, Tetra and Kabaro. Tetra has the Soothing Bell. I find a lot of times Tetra's speed was very high, and he would heal the team before they ever took damage. So I put on the Soothing Bell, which actually reduces his speed by 100. So he does go last now, or at least later in the sequence after people have taken damage. Kurobo. I've chosen Kurobo because his aura activates on taking fire damage, and Shion does fire damage. So I can always guarantee that whoever I'm fighting will have a reduction of power and intellect all the time. As far as equipment, he has the Time Sprout, but it doesn't really matter because he's in the back row. Now, there is one caveat using Kurobo. This aura activates on anybody, so if I take fire damage on my team, my characters lose power and intellect. So sometimes if I'm going up against a boss that I know will do fire damage to me, I'll remove Kurobo from the lineup. But anyway, that is the complete Alma Superboss team for December 2023. My second Superboss team is my Wind team, featuring Sesta. Sesta herself is, well, right now I have a different badge on than I normally do, but she has the Elbistrit Dagger for the overthrow and the Ring of Might, which improves damage when you're at maximum health. I have a speed badge right now because I haven't been fighting any super bosses lately, and normally I just go and use her in the Garulea dungeons, and I want to make sure that she goes before the enemies, so I have a 40 speed badge on her. When I'm not using the 40 speed badge, there are several other badges I can use. I could use Dragon God badge, for example, but the one I normally use, which has been featured in previous videos, is the Vitality badge. When she's at max health, her damage increases by 20%. So against a boss, I would equip that badge. Otherwise, she just has the speed badge. Her Grasta are the same as always. She has 3 Power of Pain related Grasta. One has Bullseye, one has MP Consumption, and the third one has the damage plus when the zone is awakened. Her Twin Blade Wolf only happens in an awakened zone, so I swapped out the ore on this one. It used to be Adversity, and a lot of times when you're fighting a super boss, there's only one, so the Adversity really didn't do anything. But all the time, Sesta's power comes when the Wind Zone is awakened. That's when she gets her Twin Blade Wolf stacks. So I figure I can just put this one on and improve damage. So that's what I've done with that. Melody, her AS form, is part of my Wind team. She also has a Purity Staff, mainly for the defense. She has the Oriental Ring, which also improves defense. And she has an HP plus speed half badged. So she has 6,000 health between those. They're nothing fancy. One is an MP consumption, which is nice. But the other two, it's HP restore and another HP restore, one with, well, I guess both with luck. So their effects really don't matter whatsoever. If I really wanted to, I could keep farming Omegapolis or someplace and get more HP ores and give her another 900 health. But she has 6,000 and is doing pretty well right now. So Yifa has changed just a little bit from last time. Her gear is about the same. She has Miyake's hammer for extra speed and MP consumption. She just has a plasma bangle. It's not really leveled any. I think it's like it's a +2. So she gets like 8 mana back per turn. And she has a spirit badge to improve her spirit. I was using a speed badge, but she goes pretty fast naturally anyway, and I've been making use of her faith ability a little bit more at the suggestion of one of the people that posts on my channel. So I wanted to improve her spirit a little bit. What has changed are her Grasta. I gave her the Enhance if max HP for Wind users Grasta. So when Sesta is at max health, Yifa now gives her an extra 10% damage. This is one of the new Grasta that comes from the newest dungeons, the Entrana dungeon. She still has resistances for 2 types. She has type debuff and proficiency debuff resistances. But basically, Yifa is now boosting Sesta's damage by 10%. She's technically boosting everyone's damage by 10%, so Melody and Soira as well, they just don't do that as much damage. Soira, her weapon has changed. I went through and beat up all the bosses that drop the void items. They weren't terribly difficult at this point in the game, so I didn't make any videos about them. I recorded like 3 of them, and I'm like, why am I doing this? They die in like 2 hits. Soira's defenses are based on her luck value and her critical rating. So the Void Lance has a 100% critical rate. That means 100% of the time she will reduce damage based on her luck. If you have a different weapon, for example, I was using the Prismatic Pick for a very long time, and that critical rate was 70%. That meant 70% of the time her luck would reduce the damage, which means 30% of the time Soira would take full damage. Now, all the time, she's gaining a damage reduction. So as far as armor, I want things that give me luck, so she has the Grace Armlet, and she has 2 luck badges. So her luck's at 350. I'm not quite sure what the percentages are. I think when the luck is at 500, she reduces all damage by 75%. So 350 is probably, I don't know, like 60% reduction, something like that. Grasta-wise, I have her with 3 Grasta that give 300 health, and she has 3 HP ores as well. So she gets 1800 health by Grasta. And she has her Valor Chant Grasta. It gives her another 300 health and a whopping 5 luck. So she now has 6800 health, and she reduces damage 100% of the time, and she reduces it by her luck value, which is probably somewhere around the 60-ish% area. So that is the main 4. The backups. Izami, her gear really doesn't matter. What matters are her Grastas. She has max HP for katana users. Sesta is a katana user, so as long as Sesta is at max health, she will do 30% more damage. If Sesta is hurt below 80%, she will do 40% more damage. And then I have Power of Gale for katana users. Sesta, no matter what her health is, will do 30% extra damage for wind type attacks. Izami, I also happen to have her Valor Chant Grasta. And Ukwaji. Ukwaji's in the background basically just for healing. I haven't really messed with him. He still gives everyone an extra 15% resistance towards debuffs and so forth. So really his main purpose is just to heal the team after every turn, which I also have Tetra for. So basically the team gets 2 healers. And my sub-sidekick is Pishi. I don't know how he pronounces it. Since he's the secondary sidekick, I'm not really sure if any of this matters. The Phantom Mist environmental effect is pretty rare, but I guess if I ever hit that, everyone gets an extra 30% damage. So that is Superboss team number 2, the Sesta team. My final Superboss team is my Minalca team. Once again, main damage dealers in the front, Minalca. She has the Elpis Sword for its overthrow and critical rating. She has the Dryad's Bangle from the new dungeon as well, which improves her critical strength. Since she always crits, that means I get more damage out of it. And then I get a little bonus amount of mana as well, MP. And for badge, she has a Power plus 50 and Speed half badged, which is kind of nice. Since she has the lowest speed on the team, that means the others can all set their buffs before she ever attacks. So she gets the full benefit of all the buffs that turn before she starts into her rip and tear. Her Grasta, I believe, are the same as before. She has Power of Pain related Grastas. One with Bullseye, one with MP consumption, and the third is an upgraded Infernal Power of Pain, which basically just improves pain strength by 30 and fire type attacks by 20. Minalca gets most of her damage by causing a beginning of turn attack, I guess you could say. She basically saps everyone's health in order to give her stacks of Tributum, which then improve her rip and tear damage. So it's to her benefit that the team, the front row team at least, has as much health as possible, herself included. So that's how they've been designed. Sukiya has the Dryad Spear. She has the Subspace Bracelet, which adds health. And she has an HP badge, which adds health. Sukiya's Grasta also give her health. Each one gives her a base of 300 health. One has the HP ore. The second one also has the HP ore. And the third one has the 9 lives ore, because I was playing around with one of the super bosses and gave it to her. Normally, it also has an HP ore attached to it. So, but it's not really causing me any issues, so I've just kind of left it there for now. So that is Sukiya. Skill-wise, she can place Fire Zone. And then with Surging Blaze, she can beef up Minalca. And her skill reduces fire resistance. And it also awakens the Fire Zone. So basically this is turn 1, this is turn 2, and this one is turn 3. Iffy is the exact same Iffy as before in the Alma Superboss team, so I won't spend too much time talking about her. And then Radius is also equipped the same as the Alma Superboss team. You'll notice though that Radius had 10,633 health in that team, and in the Minalca team she has 933 health, and that's because of Aldo. One of the Grasta that Aldo is holding is the Robust Body for sword users. Each sword user gets 300 health and 50 mana. So he is beefing up Radius even more and giving Minalca an extra 300 health to boot. His remaining Grasta, when Minalca's below or at or below 80% health, which is pretty much all the time, she does more damage, and he has Power of Inferno. Regardless of Minalca's health, she does get an extra 30% fire damage. Aldo himself has the Dragon God's Might Grasta, but he's not in the front row, so he never really attacks. Violet, I chose her because she's a free character, she is a sword user, so she can hold more sword type stuff, such as the Enhance if Max HP sword. Every so often, Tetra would heal Minalca before she attacked, so she'd actually be at max health instead of partially damaged. So this ensures that if that happens, she still does at least an extra 30% damage. And then Violet is a glutton, and so is Minalca. So I needed a glutton in the background to boost Minalca's damage another 25%. And then everyone, I just needed a third Grasta, so everyone in the team gets an extra 15% resistance for those debuffs. Sidekick-wise, Tetra, of course, equipped the same as before, so his speed is very low. And this is a fire team, so I have Kurobo again for the aura activation. If I'm fighting a boss that does fire damage to me, it kind of depends on the boss. If the boss does a ton of damage, sometimes I leave Kurobo in, even though I'm making my team weaker, but sometimes survival requires that. So this is the Minalca team. Those are my Superboss teams. I hope some of this helps you when you're building your teams. And Casual Crono, signing out.